Hey guys, how's it going and welcome back. Today we're going to take a look at the Apex 370. This is a dynamic microphone headset with XLR cable. So you're kind of tied to 15 feet worth of cable on this thing. Now, as far as everything goes on the back of the box specification wise, it's dynamic, unidirectional, 50 to 15,000 hertz frequency response. Sensitivity is minus 84 dB, plus or minus 3 dB, of course. 0 dB equals, what is it I got here? Looks like 1 volt, U bar at 1 kilohertz, 600 ohms, about 30% at 1 kilohertz, and of course the 15-foot cable. So rugged, secure headband assembly. It does have one of these adjustable headband Velcro things on the back of it. I'll show you a little bit more in depth of the mic in a few minutes when we're done. Handles high SPL, unidirectional polar pattern, allows maximum gain before feedback. Ideal for live vocal announcement and broadcasting applications. Velcro support headband and microphone windscreen included. Now, these things sell for $69.99 in Canada at Long McQuaid. I rented this for $5 for the month, so pretty cheap rental to try something out if you're looking for this sort of thing. And what happened was last week, myself and my landlord slash boss slash worship leader from our church, we did you might as well call it a gig, over at one of the apartment complexes in Powassan here, and it was me, him, and his friend Brian, and so we played some country music and country gospel stuff. And as you guys know, I'm not a huge country fan, but a lot of that country music we played, I actually kind of liked. So just haven't said much about it yet, but I did like quite a bit of it, so it was pretty good. Anyways, we did get some special requests and whatnot, but him and Brian had their amplifiers with them and their mics, and of course they're using dynamic mics on stands, which does take up a fair amount of room, but I didn't have an amp or a mic, so I had to keep borrowing Dave's mic. And whenever it came for me to do basically like a special request, right? Because somebody had asked him, he says, you ever done any of your own originals? And he's like, no, but Kevin has. So, of course, I got up and I played one of my own songs. And second time around, it came to another request. And I said, well, how about some CCR? Let's play Proud Mary, right? And that was fun. But I got to thinking, well, after we were done, and it was a 2-hour thing, so we played a lot of stuff, a lot of special requests too. We've been asked to come back again, and it's like, okay, well, next time Kevy's going to be more prepared. So I picked up one of these TVM15 amps. Now, I've had this model before. It is battery powered or hydro. But I also needed a microphone, but I didn't want to go for a dynamic mic with a stand, even though I have that already. I wanted a headset thing, and even though I'm not a huge fan of being tied down to a wire, we're going to give this a shot and see, because then this leaves me 100% battery, because I do have wireless as well for the guitar, but I also have a vocal box to enhance my vocals above what this thing can do. So all this gives you for the mic only channel, if that's what you're using it for, with an XLR, because it's the only XLR connection point, you only get gain and tone control. Well, my vocal box can do a lot more, and I like to have that accentable reverb on the vocals too, so I'll be able to do that. But at the same time, I can amplify my guitar and my vocals same time, and that's going to work. And this thing is not very big, and I got this on sale for about $170 some, because it was a used model. And nothing wrong with it. It's actually in perfect condition. So quite happy with that. And of course I get the extended performance warranty. So this way, if anything should happen to it, as long as I keep renewing that warranty, even my batteries will be a free replacement. So let's fire this thing up for you. Now, as far as the headset goes, I think the headset's pretty comfy. It does only go on the right side. There's no left or right, obviously. The microphone, being dynamic mics, you have to almost eat these mics in order to get anything out of them. So if I move the microphone in a lot closer, what's going to happen is I'm going to get a lot louder, obviously, in which case we start looking at, let's bring that tone range up a little bit too. but it's that whole plosion thing, right? Like plosion, P, P, B, B, A, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, L, M, N, O, P. You know, you get the whole idea of the alphabet here. So you don't have a lot of control over anything other than tone control for the mic, but it can still work for you. And besides, this is more for busking stuff, which you don't worry too much about having pro level sound when you're busking. But I find if I move the mic away a bit, I can reduce the plosion amount, and that means the gain has to go up a little higher. Right now I got the gain sitting around 2 o'clock, and if I make just a little adjustment just like that, I get the mic a little bit better. Now, one of the things I don't like about this mic, I can tell you right now, is this windscreen comes off way too easily. We figure maybe it's because it's not a brand new unit. It's been rented a number of times. So if I do buy one, I'm going to buy a brand new one in the box. But we'll have to see how it goes. Because I would like wireless either way in the end, if I can. And I do know there is another option out there that could possibly do, at least for this sort of stuff. But we'll have to see how that actually goes in the end for us, right? So I'm going to give you guys a little demo, and yes, it's going to be something I wrote. It's a familiar tune to you guys, but I got to stay out of trouble with YouTube after all. So, but here's the guitar portion. So if I bring the volume up louder on the guitar so you can hear more of it. Now, I only have bass and treble on my preamp of my guitar, but I do have bass, mid, and treble on the amplifier itself, so I can increase my bass a bit more and pull back the mids and trebles a bit, just to kind of tame it a bit. So now I'll go back to that halfway point. And your vocals do need to be louder than your guitar anyways, so let's give this a go and see how we do, all right? I wanna serve you, Lord, for the rest of my days. I want to be like Jesus. I wanna make the lame to walk and the blind to see. Open up the prison doors and set the captives free. Oh Lord, I want to be like Jesus in every way. So that's actually not bad, but we do need to tame that sound a little bit more, which is why I'm thinking my vocal pedal may just do the trick for that. So I want to hook that up for you guys. The guitar can be made to be sounding really super awesome. I spent some time on a Taylor 110 while I was in there, because that's all they had in a lefty version for me, because I can play lefty better, obviously. But I got to thinking, well, I'm kind of liking it. I can tame that sound. And it has the same pickup system, so... But, so what we're going to do here, this is going to make a bit of a difference in even my gain control. It might feedback on me right away, because this has got a preamp in it as well. Whoa, we didn't feedback. Check, 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 check. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1. So this gives us some reverb. So let's just get this mess untangled. This is one thing I'm going to have to get some shorter cables if I do buy this headset. And there goes the pick. Alright, let's try this again. I wanna serve if my batteries are getting low. I want to be, I want to be, I want to. That might be better. I want to serve you, Lord, for the rest of my days. I want to be like Jesus. Well, that's why this stupid correct thing is on. All right, it has our hard autocorrect. Too bad. I think we can turn the gain down a bit, though. I think that can come down, and we can back off this tone a little. And we'll try 1, 2. Turn that off. Probably need a bit more gain on there because I'm having a hard time hearing my own voice. So crank that up a little. I want to serve you, Lord, for the rest of my days. I want to be like Jesus. So, you know, I find the mic still a little on the close side. So if I back the mic out a bit, I can actually change my gain input. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so that gives me a lot more gain, and I can avoid plosions, maybe. 1, 2, 1, 2, plosion, plosion, plosion. Still a little spiky there. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. No plosion. Well, a little bit. 1, 2, 1, 2. Maybe turn the treble up. 1, 2, plosion, plosion, plosion. Still going to get a little bit of plosions there, but we can pull the mic back even further. I want to serve you, Lord, for the rest of my days. I want to be like Jesus. I want to make the lame to walk and the blind to see. Open up the prison doors and set the captives free. That I find is a lot better, So we got some adjustments going here. We're good. I can turn that whole thing right out and just go straight in. I want to serve you, Lord, for the rest of my days. I want to be like Jesus. I want to make the lame to walk and the blind to see. I got double vocals. Open up the prison doors and set the captives free. Oh Lord, I want to be like Jesus. So it's not bad. I mean, we do still have other enhancements. 1, 2, 1, 2. That's going to feedback a little bit on me. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I want to serve you, Lord, for the rest of my days. So that's actually pretty decent, really. So we got our reverb. I think we still got a little bit much for reverb, but it kind of gets swamped in the mix a little bit, so that's good. But we can take care of a lot of the plosions by having a preamp like this to boost things up so we can move it back more, you know, and avoid all that plosion. That's almost gone now. Plosion, plosion, plosion. Yeah, it's not even popping the woofer, so. I want to serve you, Lord, for the rest of my days. I want to be like Jesus. I want to make the lame to walk and the blind to see. Okay, so that's actually pretty decent. I like that. Good setup. So let me just get my guitar here, and yeah, the headset's gonna have to come off first, and we'll turn that off. Get this all unplugged, and we'll retrieve our pick that went flying on the floor earlier. Now, I don't buy just anything and everything anymore. I'm kind of slowing down a lot because I pretty much got all the gear I really need. But I didn't need a high-end acoustic amplifier. And this runs acoustic guitar, electric guitar, bass guitars, keyboards. It does it all. It also works great as a stage monitor too. It's what it's designed for. But for what we're doing, it's actually more than adequate for an amplifier. You know, and like I said, I've had this amp before. It is on my channel. It's a TVM 15. They actually had a 10-watt version of this. I actually didn't know they did until I saw posting on Marketplace. A guy selling like 3 of these things locally in North Bay, and he wants $100 a pop for them with apparently new batteries in them. It's like, okay, you can't be making any money on that if, you know, you've spent $60 a pop on batteries, but whatever. 10 watts is definitely, in my opinion, not enough, but 15 definitely will do the trick. But untangling this mess is just, this is the one thing I can say that I don't like, is this miles worth of wiring. You know, it's just, to me, it's a very big inconvenience to have that length of wire. But I guess they're figuring, well, if you're going to plug in and, you know, this and that, you know, you're going to have some wire, because it's not a wireless unit after all. And there we go. So I'll give you an up close here of the headset itself. So it has this adjustable band on it, which, you know, if you don't need it, just take it off, and, you know, if it fits your head properly. Otherwise, I mean, your flexibility is a flexible gooseneck. Like I said, this will come off easily, so be careful you don't lose it. There's got to be some better way to keep that on there. Hopefully they give you some spares in a brand new one in the box. This is like a used one because it's been rented, so I don't know how many extra foams you get, but there's certainly got to be some sort of way to keep that foam on there a lot better. But I think for a dynamic mic, for doing basic busking, if you're going to do that sort of thing like at parks or whatever, one of these little amps for an acoustic guitar player, at least, for sure. But even an electric guitar, you can run electric guitars to this with your effects and stuff, and, you know, you're going to have full EQ accessible for the guitar side, but for the microphone side, you only have gain and tone. That's it. So you would need like a vocal EQ pedal, or some kind of a vocal effect thing like what I've got here. I can kind of dial things in and tame it a little bit better. You know, because you do need a bit of reverb or wetness on your voice for vocals. It's very important, okay? Yeah, as far as the thing goes, I mean, yes, you're going to get tangled a little bit because there's 15 feet of wire, but it's not made to be wireless, so you have to keep that in mind. You're buying a wired unit. And the build quality seems to be pretty good on the thing overall. I mean, it seems decent. Like I said, my major complaint is kind of like this foam. It comes off too easy. The wire, well, I don't need 15 feet of wire where I'm playing at. I would probably be better off cutting this to the length I do need, but then again, the next time, will I need more wire? So you don't want to cut the wire, okay? And try resoldering all that. But either way, I think that for $70, it can definitely solve a lot of issues for you, especially if you're not near hydro. Now, we are near hydro to plug in, but like I said, I don't have the money to go out and buy even a Sennheiser set again, because they're like $500, right? And it's kind of like, well, I probably shouldn't have traded it in and whatnot at the time, but you never know what you're going to do anymore. I do have a full wireless headset system by Fifine. I may just go with that in the end. I'm going to actually experiment between this one and my Fifine, and it just means I got to keep an eye on the battery pack, at least for the receiver part, because it's only got, I think, about 5 hours of runtime out of it, and our things that we do are about 2 hours a piece, so I should be fine. Even if I bring a spare set of batteries for the receiver, the transmitter will run for like hours and hours longer. But I may just go with that. That may be the better solution for me. But I wanted to try something out that's not battery powered, because it's enough. I mean, we have our wireless units, which is fine. This is a wireless thing for battery power. It'll run, 8, 10, 11 hours on battery, so it's got a lot of runtime on the battery, so it's more than adequate. It does have a pole mount on the side too, so you can actually put it upright on a pole, use it as a PA kind of thing. Whatever you want to do, right? Stand it up on its end. It's got feet here, and it's got feet down here. It's got feet on the back, so multitude of different angles for whatever situation you need. But as far as this thing goes, though, I think it is kind of worth the $70, to be honest. I would probably feel more comfortable around the $50 range for this, but it's Canada, it's inflation, so yeah, I guess it's worth the $70, right? And it definitely does do the job, and it does it pretty good on this thing, so that kind of makes me happy there. It's just a matter of deciding now how much wire I want to have playing, because one of the problems we ran into is with my vocal box, I still want vocal control. This is where I might be jammed. We cannot find a tipped sleeve to unbalanced connector to use my wireless unit in this, and then just get like a 2 or 3 foot cable and pop it right on the amp, and it sits right there for me. That's where we got into the big issue. I don't want to have to bring a regular dynamic mic with a mic stand, because it chews up too much extra space. You can never get your mic in the right spot, especially if you're sitting down and playing, but even standing up, it's still a lot of space it takes up, and it makes too messy, right? And we have a very small area for the three of us to sit in, and we all play guitar, so it's kind of like, I got to try and compact this down, for me at least, a lot. And I want to be able to use this pedal, so the only way that happens is either I take up the real estate space, or I go to something like this, and then I can use this pedal. The only other option I would have would be to get the well, actually, no, that's even out of the question, because that puts me back into a dynamic mic with a stand, so I can't even get the X5 wireless mic system, so that's not going to work. So yeah, I guess I'm kind of at that. So it's either I use this and buy that, or I forget about this and I just go to my Fifine headset and deal with just tone and the gain, and that's it, right? I'll have to work it out and see what I like the sound of better without the box, and forget the reverb on the vocals, even though to me it's a very important thing to have. It's kind of like one of those things, right? So I don't know, but I do like the set. Overall, I do like it. I think it's a pretty neat little idea, and it does function as per the way it's supposed to as well. And like I said, the build quality seems to be pretty decent. They just need to figure out this whole thing with the windscreen. But otherwise, yeah, as long as you're careful with it, you don't lose the windscreen. But I'm pretty sure you can get third-party ones somewhere. There's got to be a third-party solution or something out there for a phone windscreen. That, or maybe somehow tape it on, but I don't want to make something brand new even look ugly either, so it's kind of like, I'm really OCD, okay? But yeah, otherwise, now, star rating, I'm gonna say, I'll be nice and generous, because it does work really well. And it is pretty good overall, right? So I'm going to say 4 out of 5 is kind of where I'm at. I got to ding it because it ain't perfect. I definitely got to ding it for this part here with the foam windscreen. Like I said, I don't know if we get spares with it or not, or how easy is it going to be to obtain replacements, because that's something where if they don't supply you even one extra, we would want to find out if we can buy extras, and if we can, well, what's it going to cost me for like a handful of them? Because I'm more than sure I'm going to lose at least 1 or 2 of these over time, right? So I got to keep that in mind. But yeah, otherwise, I say yeah, it's a pretty good little system. Check one out for yourself though, and see if you actually personally like it. for me, I found that the 15 feet of cable is definitely a disaster for me. It's just way too long for where I'd be sitting with it. And if I was going to do busking outdoors, I wouldn't need anything more than 5 or 6 feet, because I always sit down and play anyway. So what's the difference, right? I don't need that long of a cable. But you can always coil it up and reduce the length too. So that's another option, I suppose, that we have. But I am definitely solid out on that 4 out of 5. So anyway, let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. Sorry I had to play a very familiar song to you that's been played a lot. But YouTube does have their rules of playing other people's music, right? And that's one at least I got memorized in my head. That's one of my own that's very much stuck in my head. Anyway, thanks again, and we'll catch you on the next video. See ya.